So we're going to do some of these problems in this homework assignment together, all right? So that when it's time for you to do this homework, you have an idea of what's going on. All right, so if we look at, for example, number 1, you're going to use the chart that we just created on page 23. You should be using that on almost every one of these, okay? So the first one, if this is x squared, the parent graph looks like what? F of x equals x squared, okay? That's what the parent graph would look like. And I heard you say what? Quadratic. It's a quadratic. What does the quadratic graph look like? It's a parabola, okay? So here's what I need you to do on all of these. When it says parent graph, you need to graph the parent graph every time. But you need to do it with a dotted line, all right? So when we graph the parent graph here, I know I'm starting at 0, 0. Oh, wow. These graphs are crappy, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay, do your best. Just do your best. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to draw my dotted parabola. Okay? You're just doing a rough sketch of what the parent graph looks like.
So does it have to be like exact or anything? Just
It needs to start at 0, 0 and go up. From as far as your width is concerned, no. Yep, dotted. Okay? If you want to use a highlighter for your parent graph, you're welcome to do that. Okay? So now let's talk about the transformation. What happened? If I have x squared minus 6, Dalton, what does that minus 6 tell me? Is that my h or is that my k? Let Dalton answer. He's capable of answering. Is it on the inside with the squared?
No.
It's on the outside.
Yeah.
So what kind of a shift is it if the number's on the outside? A vertical shift, okay? So we're going to say the transformation is a vertical shift. We're writing that. And it's a vertical shift of how many? 6, but let's write the sign with it. Which way are we going? You can either write vertical shift down 6 or you can write negative 6. So now I'm going to take my parent graph and I'm going to go down 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is it still going up? It's still opening up, right? Because I didn't change this to be negative. My A value is still positive.
But now I'm confused.
Okay, ask your question.
Because if it's a positive 6, why am I going down?
This is a negative 6 right here. The K value, it's on the outside, so we take the sign of the outside one. If you look back on the back, if it was the K value, we keep the sign.
Yeah.
It's only when it's inside parentheses, and there are no parentheses here. If it was inside the parentheses, that's when you would do the opposite sign. Okay?
Why don't we dotted line that one?
Because this is the actual graph, right? The parent graph was the dotted one, so we can see what's happening.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but would it be wise to think of it as like our B value from like a y-intercept format?
No. Oh, you mean as far as whether it goes up or down?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fine. Okay, let's look at number 3. So we're skipping number 2. We're going to number 3. The parent graph here is the square root graph, which is the square root of x, right? We talked about what that parent graph looks like. Yes, a shooting star. Nope. Okay, now, where is the shift at, Ryan? Where's the shift? What number up here represents the shift? 4. Is it a vertical shift or is it a horizontal shift? It's a vertical shift, right? Because it's not underneath that radical. If it was under the radical, that would be a horizontal shift. So this is a vertical shift. Which direction, Ryan? Up how many? 4, right? So this is a vertical shift up 4.
So does that mean that I go down or I go up?
Vertical shift is the same sign. So we're starting here. We're making it go off. Okay?
That's not that bad.
Let's look at number 6. Okay? Let's look at number 6. Okay, this is an absolute value graph, right? So the parent graph here is f of x equals the absolute value of x. What kind of shape is that? You have your paper to go back to if you need to. It's a V, right?
This is a horizontal and vertical.
And
it's gonna be.
just a second. I'll let you answer one of them. Hang on, just a second.
Well, I'll answer both. I'm getting a hang of this.
Excellent. That's what I like to hear. Aspen, choose a shift. Which one do you want to talk about? The horizontal shift, okay? So which one is the horizontal shift? What number is representing that? Okay, remember if it's on the inside, that's the horizontal shift, okay? Okay, positive 5. But what do we have to remember about the horizontal shift? Excellent. So this is a horizontal shift. So we're going to write horizontal shift. Which way am I actually moving? If it's actually a negative 5, I'm actually moving to the left. Good, Lexi. Left 5. Or you can write negative 5, whichever you would prefer. Okay, it's a horizontal shift left negative or left 5. And then Brooklyn, what about the vertical shift? Vertical shift down 2 or negative 2. Because there are 2 shifts on this one, right?
How do you tell that?
Because I have a number here and a number here.
Oh, so
Right?
If one of them's your H and your K, what's that other letter? Oh.
Okay, so we're going back 5. It's the same thing as finding the vertex, right? The vertex here was negative 5, negative 2. Right, guys?
Yes.
So negative 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 2. That's where our vertex should be. Is it flipping down or is it still facing up? Still facing up. There's no negative in front, right? So now we're just going to make our graph.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Seems simple enough.
This is a great question. Okay, next page. We're going to do a few more together.
Next page.
Yep.
I'm also just making video games that I like to graphs quite a bit, actually.
Okay, let's look at number 10. Next page. I'm doing these with you so that when it comes time to homework, you don't have to just sit there and be like, I don't know how to do any of this. Not that any of... Okay, I can go back with you in just a few minutes and go back with that, okay? All right, number 10 says the absolute value. Okay, so these problems say give the parent function. Okay, so they're telling you what kind it is. And a description, write the equation. All right, so the absolute value, it's a vertical shift down and horizontal shift to the right. So we know it starts f of x equals the absolute value of x. We know that's how it starts, right? Because it said absolute value. What goes inside the absolute value symbol? The horizontal shift or the vertical shift? What goes inside? Okay, before we shout answers out, let's think about our answers. Inside the parentheses or inside the brackets is the horizontal shift. That's the H value, goes inside. So if it says it has a horizontal shift to the right 3, if I'm going to the right 3, that seems like positive 3, right? Mm-hmm. But when I put it in my graph, it actually needs to be negative. Okay. So I know that inside the absolute value is going to be negative 3. Are we okay with that? So we did that part first. And then it says you have a vertical shift down 5. We keep that sign the same. So this is a negative 5. Where is that negative 5 going to go? On the outside at the end. Minus 5. And then we put our f of x on there. Okay? That's all you do. You got to write the equation from the information given to you. Let's look at number 13. It says a quadratic. So go back and look if you can't remember. The graph is f of x equals x squared, right? That's the parent graph. Okay? So then it tells me you have a horizontal shift. Where does the horizontal shift go? Inside the parentheses or brackets or outside? Inside. Okay? And then it says to the left 8. So if I'm going to the left 8, that means really negative 8, right? I'm moving to the left negative 8. But when I put it in, it actually needs to be a positive 8. So we said it was going to go on the inside. So I have f of x equals x plus 8. And then what goes on the outside there? Squared. And then you can put a plus 0 if you want to, but it's not necessary. Okay? So guys, this is not super hard, but it is going to take you thinking. You should not rush through this. It's going to take some willpower. It's going to take some brain power, which you all have. There's no law against using your thinker. By the time we get done here, you're going to be saying that with me. Okay? So you're just going to have to focus and work through these, okay? All right, let's look at, you guys can match the graphs. That's okay. On, what? It's quadratic, right? Quadratic means it's parentheses with the square on the outside.
I have a question.
On 17 through 25, they're going to give you a graph, and you have to write the equation from it. Okay? So, I know. I will help you figure out where they are if you can't see. Okay? So the first thing that I would ask you to do is find the vertex. So make yourself a little note. Number 1, the first step you should be doing is finding that vertex. Okay? So if you can't, I think you guys can probably work them out. If you can't see the numbers, you can at least count the dots, the lines. Okay? So let's do number 19 together. So I can't see those. I can't even see those numbers. Sorry about that. But I do know that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Okay? And it's hitting right here. So there is a horizontal shift on this one. We know that it's the square root graph, right? So we know we can write the parent function underneath it. F of x equals the square root of x. We know that's the parent function. And I had a horizontal shift of negative 5. So we can write that down. You're kind of a detective here. You're looking at all the things that you know. Horizontal shift of negative 5. Where do horizontal shifts go? On the inside or on the outside? We're finally getting it. Okay. Goes on the inside. And what do we have to remember about the sign? It changes, right? So this is really going to look like a plus 5. Does anyone want to try and give this one a go? What the new equation might be? F of x.
Equals square root of 5.
Not the square root of 5. We have the square root of x. Then what? Plus 5. It goes inside. Okay, the bracket, the parenthesis, the square root sign, whatever. Was there a vertical shift here? Did we go up and down? No. So this one is finished. Okay? Now, let's look at number 21. Okay, so if we're looking at 21, what kind of a graph is 21?
We don't know. They're going to tell us that.
No, it's just a what? It's just a say that. Who's saying that over there? Linear, right? It's just a linear graph. So if it's a linear graph, guys, if it's someone that has a key, 21 is a linear graph, right? So what is the equation of a line? What's the parent equation? Does anybody remember? We didn't talk about it. It's not in our notes. If it's a line, every line is what? Y equals?
MX plus B.
Woo! There we go. Thank you, Carolyn. Right? So let's go ahead and write that. Underneath number 21, y equals mx plus b.
Ooh, I know what you're doing.
Okay, yeah, what is our b, Leanna?
-4.
You guys see that there? Again, even if you can't see the numbers, you can count the dashes. So we know that our b value is 4. And then, do you guys see that it hits up here at 4?
B's negative.
Okay. Ooh, -4, good. So it's -4.
And then
We went 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So up 4 and over 4.
4.
4 over 4 is what?
4.
1. No, 4 divided by 4? 1, right? Okay. It's just 1. So this is our 1x minus 4. So your equation is f of x equals x minus 4.
Oh, I put y equals.
Oh, if you accidentally put y equals, it's not going to be counted wrong. But we're going to try to get into the habit, right? Okay, last one, number 23. Why don't you try to do number 23 on your own, and then we'll check the answer together. So I told you the first step was to find the vertex. That's your first step, is to find the vertex. Then talk about what parent graph you need.
Does that one have a shift?
Nope, well, no, because it's just a line. So we're just finding the key points of the line. Those are kind of different. Okay.
So we're doing 22?
23 is the problem you need to be working on. We're finding the vertex first. Go with me on 23. Some of you are stuck on 22. Go to 23. Discover what you know, the vertex. Find the parent graph. Talk about what kind of a shift it was. I hear a lot of paper shuffling, which is a good thing. Did you find the vertex? Bless you. Give you about 10 more seconds.
How are you guys doing?
All right. What is the parent graph here? It's a quadratic, so it's going to be f of x equals what? X squared. Okay. Then my vertex, negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is -5, 0, right? So I have a what kind of shift? Horizontal or vertical, Lexi? Horizontal shift or vertical shift? Horizontal shift. Okay? So I know I have a horizontal shift of -5. Where does a horizontal shift go, Donald? On the inside or on the outside?
Outside. Inside.
Which one? Does a horizontal shift go on the inside with the parentheses or on the outside? You can use your notes to
Goes
look back.
inside with the parentheses.
There you go. It goes inside. But if it's a horizontal shift, what do I have to be careful about the sign?
It flips.
Okay. So Daniel, what is this equation going to be?
It's f of x equals x plus 5 squared.
Does anyone else agree with Daniel? X plus 5 all squared? Excellent. Any questions on that one? Okay. Your assignment is to finish all the other problems that we did not do.